Alright, quick update on Avalanche. So if we start off on the momentum indicators, you can see it's not looking too good right now. The bears are obviously in full control of this downtrend that we are experiencing right now. On the daily time frame, you're miles below your daily EMA ribbons, which are obviously bearish. 4-hourly EMA ribbons is where it gets, much more ugly, because you can see this downtrend since our most recent local top up here at $103 has been perfectly defined by these 4-hourly EMA ribbons. I find it funny how every single time you enter these downtrends, you come over to the 4-hourly EMA ribbons and they come down with the price. Every time the price tries to come up, you get stuck in the EMA ribbons. So it's always good to look at these 4-hourly EMA ribbons, see how the price reacts to it. So obviously we can't look at the 4-hourly EMAs on the 1 hour, but you can see quite recently, short-term moving average of the 4-hourly EMAs was coming in right here. Now, if we come over to the 1 hour, you can see we tried to push above these and we've broken back below these. On the 1 hour, we are technically temporarily above your EMA ribbons, but I really don't like doing analysis on the 1 hourly time frames. I notice a lot of the time you get fake out after fake out after fake out on the 1 hourly EMAs. I'm only interested in looking at the 1 hour. In the most recent impulse that we've done for Avalanche, we are technically bullish, and you can see you've had an impulse, or depending on which way you want to draw it, you can draw from here. You can see we've returned to the 786. We made a higher high, so we'll draw out our fib. In theory, I'd really like to see Avalanche hold this box here between the 618 fib and the 786 Fibonacci. If I move this over, I think I drew... Here we go, so to the 786 right here. So between the regions of $58 and $57 is where I really want to see Avalanche hold. Now, you come over to your much higher time frames, you look at your oscillators. We'll start off with the money flow indicator. Your money flow indicator recently bottomed at 13. That is the lowest your money flow has ever been. If we look at the relative strength index, the RSI actually came down to 25, which is also similarly the lowest that Avalanche has ever gone down to. Now, I'm not, it's really disappointing, because when we looked at Avalanche like a couple of months ago, this was one of the most bullish charts that we had. You can see we had a very steep line of attack coming all the way back since $29. You got touch point, touch point, touch point, and then we broke below this. You can see we also broke back below this trend line. This trend line we were stuck underneath for such a long period of time. We finally got back above this. We got a rejection from your 0.5 Fibonacci, and we've been in a downtrend ever since then. So it's not looking the greatest, in my opinion. We're running into some very, very strong areas of resistance right now, and that's not to say that we can't break out, because we are getting, I don't want to say good volume, we're seeing an okay increase in volume overall. We're seeing in the past, in the 4-hourly squeeze one, which is the squeeze momentum indicator, the bulls are really trying to step over and take control of this uptrend, but it's not working too well. Like you can see, these 4-hourly EMAs are your #1 area of resistance, and like I say, I would rather wait for a breakout of these EMA ribbons, because I imagine a lot of people have not been waiting for these EMA ribbons to flip. People have been bullish on Avalanche since $150, and once we lost these EMAs, there was really no reason to be bullish, because you were just stuck underneath these for the longest period of time. So in my opinion, it doesn't really make sense to get bullish on Avalanche until you do hop above these EMAs. And once again, that's not to say that we can't break above. I'm not a perma bear on Avalanche. I'm simply looking at the chart objectively, and I realize that this whole downtrend that we're experiencing right now is perfectly defined by your 4-hourly EMAs. Every time, what we'd need to see is a break above, a retest, and then a rally. That is what you need to see, in which case you could become bullish on Avalanche, in my opinion. Previously, we kind of almost saw this. You can see we backtested them, tried to hold them, didn't get that rally that we wanted to see, and then you just broke below them. So you'd want to see something like this, where you push up, you retest, and then after you push up, you come up higher than you previously got rejected when you came down into the EMA. So until that happens, I will be sitting on the sidelines for Avalanche. Looking at this on the much more macro time frames, we're really on our last legs in the sand right now, because this is your absolute lowest touch point down here, and then you've got touch points down here as well. and we're coming down to this floor once again. This floor at $52 to $53 has literally been in place since, wow, we even got rejected off it down here. So it's been in place since the 25th of August 2021. A break below $53, in my opinion, would mean that Avalanche is about to enter a very, very nasty downtrend. And I don't necessarily think Avalanche is about to do that. This isn't really about what I think, it's about looking at the chart objectively and noticing that the downtrend is fully supported by these EMA ribbons, and until we get above them, there's no need in being bullish, because, you know, you could imagine people were buying the dip at $68, people were buying the dip at 72, they were buying it at 73, they were buying it at 82, and we could go on until we come all the way up to $160. But the point of the matter is, if you buy the breakout, let's say for example we reverse today, we blast out of here and we absolutely just leave the atmosphere and there's no returning, buying the breakout of $65 means that you're going to be buying cheaper than the people who DCA'd the utmost previous low. So just take that into consideration. The lower we go, then the lower your breakout target becomes, and then the cheaper you become, you be able to pick up Avalanche for much cheaper. That's personally what I am banking on this trade. Now, once again, I do think the price action is going to be boring coming into the Fed meeting. Once again, we have the next Federal Reserve meeting on the 4th of May. That is tomorrow. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, I believe a lot of the confidence in the altcoin market is going to return. I believe it's going to return into Bitcoin. In my opinion, I only think confidence exited the market coming into the week of the Federal Reserve meeting. You can see literally just a week or so before the Fed meeting, we just completely started to travel to the downside. Before then, we were in a huge ascending channel. And as soon as the Fed meeting comes into play, you know, we start tanking to the downside. I've been in crypto for many years, and in the past year specifically, since all this quantitative easing BS has been going on, these Fed meetings become much more important, because everyone's interested to know, you know, what's the inflation rate, what is the interest rate going to be. Everyone wants to know what the Fed is going to be doing, and as of now, you know, you can see Bitcoin is clearly bearish. I wouldn't try and catch a falling knife on Avalanche, and that's not to say, once again, that we can't have a reversal. I am banking on Avalanche having a reversal. If you ask me what's more likely, I would look at Bitcoin at these lows, I would look at Avalanche completely oversold on these oscillators, and I'd recognize that fear exited the market before the Fed meeting, and I'd say, you know, in my opinion, I think within the next 24 to 48 hours, a lot of these cryptos could be out of these bearish ranges. However, that does not mean that we should assume the best is going to happen. We should prepare for the worst, we should hope for the best, and we should wait until the Fed meeting's done. Once it's done, we can then decide how to juggle our bags and how to react in this market. Until then, I think this Fed meeting is just going to make the markets chop up and go to the side. Once it's done, I will give you an update. I do think Avalanche will be getting out of here in the next few days, but like I said, I'm really banking on a flip of the 4-hourly EMAs. Until that happens, I would not get out of bed whatsoever. That's all I've got for Avalanche today. As always, not financial advice. Cowboy out. And before we wrap up the video, I don't always cover Avalanche. It's been a little while since I've covered Avalanche, so if you do want to see the more frequent updates on Avalanche, if you do want news updates on Avalanche, technical analysis on it, if you want me to cover it more frequently, the best way to let me know is to leave a like and a comment down below. Just say, you know, I want more Avalanche videos. That's all you need to say. That's all I need to see, that more people want more Avalanche analysis. That is all I've got for you today. Cowboy out, not financial advice, and as always, peace.